The social science passage is a standard nonfiction passage on the reading test, and it can cover all the question types because it represents a middle ground between the humanities and natural science passages. Questions in this category are based on passages in the content areas of anthropology, archaeology, biography, business, economics, education, geography, history, political science, psychology, and sociology. You're not expected to be familiar with the topic of the selection, but instead be able to determine the overall idea and organization of the selection. Also, like the science sections, you will be expected to understand relationships provided within the context of the selection and be able to make comparisons and generalizations. Now in the classroom, I'll review the possible question types associated with social sciences. For the social science, they're going to ask you some specific detail questions. These questions ask you to recall a specific detail or fact from the reading selection. So you want to make note of how the section is organized and where details are listed to make it easier to quickly find answers to the detail questions. Also, you're going to find inference questions. Now, these are the questions that ask you to make judgments from the information provided in the section. The answers aren't specifically stated in the text. You have to make judgments as to the best answer from what you noticed in your reading. Also, you're going to find main idea and argument questions. These questions ask you to identify the general topic of the selection. What is it that they are trying to prove or disprove in their writing? Those questions, the real general ones, you should probably be able to answer without even having to go back to it. They should jump out at you from your skimming. And then you have cause and effect questions. Cause and effect questions ask you to identify relationships between variables stated within the reading selection itself. The answers may be specifically stated or have to be inferred. You'll find both with cause and effect. You might find some key words in there that, like because, all right, or as a result of. And for those, it's going to be specifically stated. Do mark the test. Whenever you see those words, circle them so that you can get right to that spot and find the answers. Other times, it will be something you have to infer from information given. Okay, point of view questions. You'll also have questions where they're going to ask you to determine how a person or even the author may feel about the article or particular aspect of the selection. Ask yourself who wrote it and why. Before you read, keep in mind that you're going to need to know the answer to that. Who wrote this and why? What's the point of view? Where are they coming from? Why did they put it on the page? And through your skimming, you'll have that answer. It'll show up as one of the questions. You won't have to move around. You'll already know it. Comparison questions. These questions ask you to make judgments about similarities and differences between sections or points of views that are stated within the selection. Once again, those key words, because, or as a result of, comparing, similarly, it is like, any phrase like that, you know, okay, these things are similar, circle them, because there are going to be some questions that ask you to compare. How are they alike? How are they different? Look for those keywords while you're skimming through so you can easily refer back to that section. There'll also be some vocabulary questions. This type of question asks you about a specific meaning of a word or phrase. You should use the context of the sentence or section where the word appears to determine the best answer. Those questions, you're probably going to have to take your full 30 seconds to go ahead and answer, to look at things specifically. Finding it quickly will help out. Sometimes they give you line references. They'll say, okay, in this line, in this section, this word, it is most likely to mean, and then they'll give you sections. You've got to read a little bit before, a little bit after, and then get rid of the answers that make no sense at all. Choose between the best one, but you got to move quick. In conclusion, there are 10 questions on the social science selection that'll come from the 7 categories we just reviewed.